All right, if the functions are inverses. So in the previous lesson, we learned that in order to find check if they're inverses or not, all we had to do was swap the x and the y, and then we could solve it for y and see if they matched up. With composition, there's a different way to do it. So right here, if you take a look, it says if functions are inverses, when two functions are inverses, then if you take the function f of g of x, when you reduce it and simplify it, it should simplify to x. If you took the other function and plugged it in, so instead of f of g of x, we have g of f of x, and when you simplify it, it's x. So if they both simplify to x, then what that means is that they are actually inverses. Okay, that's just another way to check it. I personally don't use this as much. I just switch x and y and I solve it, but I'm going to show you how this works here. So for the first one, I'm going to do f of g of x. So once again, we define it. We know that g of x is right here, 1/2 x minus 3. So I'm going to say f of 1/2 x minus 3. So just make sure 1/2 x minus 3. Okay, so now we're going to take this 1/2 x minus 3 and we're going to plug it in for this x right there. So 2 parentheses 1/2 x minus 3, and then continue plus 6. And now we're just going to simplify it. So we distribute the 2. 2 times 1/2 x is x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, and then we have a positive 6. And here, hopefully, you see that negative 6 and positive 6 cancel out. And here we can confirm that f of g of x is equal to x. So it is a possibility that for right now, they could be inverses. So let's continue on and finish this last one up. So if I did f of g of x over here, I'm going to do g of f of x. So once again, g of, we're going to change f of x to the function it is, the expression, sorry. So that's going to be 2x plus 6. Now we're going to take this 2x plus 6 and we're going to plug it in for that x right there in the g function. So make sure you do pay attention to the letters because those letters matter. So we start with 1/2. We're going to change x to this expression, which is 2x plus 6. Continue on, minus 3. We're going to distribute 1/2 times 2x is x. 1/2 times 6 is 3, and then we have a minus 3. And once again, the positive 3 and the negative 3, you can see they cancel, leaving us with x. So in terms of g of f of x, it does is equal to x. And since both of them simplify to x, by definition, they are inverses.